What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Watch Darius TV. I am back with another review, and this one is of You, Season 4, Episode 2, Portrait of the Artist. If you like the TV show You and want to see more reviews, like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video for all things You. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. I hope you guys enjoyed your Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? The whole cards and candy and stuff like that. Today is officially side chick, side man day. So I hope you guys are also having a good Valentine's Day for all you side pieces out there, all of the stuff going on. So basically, let's get into this review of You. The episode starts where the first one ended with the dinner. Joe was trying to figure out who's the one that framed him and everything going on and stuff like that, all this other weird stuff going on. Joe has sort of like an awkward time at the dinner. Trying to scope these people out. He knows he doesn't really fit in with them, and he's just trying to figure these people out more. And then he ends up heading home. He gets another invite. So I think this one is of a new party that he was being invited to, or I'm not sure. I think this was either an invite to a new party, or maybe this was the secret killer trying to figure out who he is or something like that. I don't particularly remember. I haven't seen this episode in a few days, but he goes over his steps to see who the killer may be. He has a feeling it might be Kate, but he's still trying to figure some things out. This whole episode is him just trying to figure out how to get one up on this killer guy that's been, sort of lurking in the shadows. Joe gets help from Nadia over the mystery, this new student at his the school that I think he's working at. And she basically sort of gets some more ideas. She thinks that she's helping him out with some sort of novel, but really she's pretty much trying to help him out with this crazy killer on the loose. She kind of, I guess, reminds me a little bit of the girl from earlier in the series. I forgot the actress that plays Wednesday in that Addams Family TV show that's out. I'm guessing this girl is supposed to be sort of like a newer, up to date version of her, maybe, but she's just a young girl that's helping him out, and she doesn't know, what Joe's really up to, but she's sort of helping him out with his, I think, book he's quote unquote writing. But he thinks it may be Elliot, but it's not. So now Joe is getting stalked by the killer. He's getting text messages from this guy, and so now basically Joe is sort of playing a weird type of cat and mouse game with this person that's lurking in the shadows. Usually Joe is the one that's stalking, and now somebody's stalking him. So that's an interesting switch up in this season, which I like. And then we also see Lady Phoebe seems to like Joe. But Joe's mindset is he seemed like he's not even really interested in doing any dating this season. He just seemed to be focusing on himself. So, probably any other time he might have probably, I don't know, this girl doesn't seem like she's his type, but maybe any other time she probably might have probably been interested in her, I don't know. But basically this season Joe was sort of just focusing on himself and just trying to keep a low profile. He's not doing a whole stalker Edward Cullen stuff anymore. So that's it for him. Alfred from Gotham, I see. I don't know the actor's name, but we know Alfred from the TV show Gotham is now a bodyguard on this TV show. He's a bodyguard for one of the snobby characters, so it's interesting to see him. Like I said, I haven't really seen him since that TV show Gotham, so that's pretty cool. Joe finds out a lot of people didn't like Malcolm, so that also makes his death a little bit more harder to find because so many people seem like they didn't like him. So any one of these people could have been possibly the killer. Joe doesn't think Kate is a killer. Joe needs more questions about Malcolm from these snobs. So, yeah, he ends up finding out that his trail was wrong. It's not Kate. And Joe needs to find more questions about Malcolm from these people. So Joe knows that he has to adapt to be able to sort of maneuver around these people because he's basically sticks like a sore thumb. He doesn't dress like them, think like them, or nothing like that. So he has to really adapt to fit in with them. Nadia gets Joe back into his stalking skills to figure out these new people. So he sort of goes back to sort of his old ways, walking around with the stalker hat on and stuff like that, and trying to figure these people out so he can see who's been stalking him. Joe and I think his name is Reese. They talk at an art party. I personally still think that Reese is a killer. I think he's the one that's been lurking throughout the whole thing going on here. It's too many signs. Joe says that he has a lot in common with this guy, and he's the one that Joe can connect with the most, maybe because the dude might be a possible secret killer. I really personally think that Rise is the killer. Now, anybody that's watched the next few episodes and know what's going on, I obviously do not spoil it for me, but I personally think that he is. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they is somebody that I completely least expect. But right now, Reese, or however you pronounce his name, I really think he's the killer, to be honest with you. That's my predictions. Then, while at the art party, some emo girl just basically tosses paint all over Simon's art, and she's mad that Simon sort of took her ideas, and she says Malcolm was going to expose Simon. So that's Simon's reason for why he didn't like Malcolm. So that sort of opens up a whole new door as to what the killer might be. So now it's looking like Simon might be the possible killer, but they kind of switch things up by the end of this episode. Kay says that while they were talking, they got done finding who this emo girl was that completely, destroyed Simon's artwork and all this other stuff like that for stealing her ideas. Kate and Joe, they find the girl, talk to her, all this other stuff like that. Once they leave from her place, Kate just basically tells Joe that he's a drifter and doesn't fit in, which he's right. He doesn't fit in with these people whatsoever, and she just lets it be known. And he's right. She's right. He does not fit in, and he knows he doesn't. But he's going to have to adapt if he wants to be able to survive in this world in London. Joe sees Simon is killed, so we see that Simon is not the killer, so that marks him off the list. And he has his ear removed, sort of like a Vincent Van Gogh type of thing going on here. And then the killer even gloats about taking out Simon. So we see that that's something going on. And Joe also notices that the killer takes off a body part of each person that they kill. So Malcolm lost a finger, and Simon ends up losing an ear. So this is pretty odd. He's just taking off weird body parts. So that's his mo. And Josie's Reese is different from them. He after Simon dies, all the snobs get together and talk about Simon, and Joe notices that Reese is different from all of them. Like I said, I think that's probably because he's a killer, but that's my opinion, that's my theory. And Reese knows Simon was a liar. So Reese also knows that Simon stole that girl's idea, and there's that. Nadia questions if Malcolm will be back. So Nadia, still questions if he's going to be back. She has no idea that Malcolm is pretty much up out of here. And and then the episode ends with the killer finding out who Joe really is. So there's that. This was a really crazy episode, really dope. Now the killer knows everything about Joe's dirty secrets, everything. Like I mean, it almost feels like this person's been watching Joe since the beginning of season one. He was able to find everything there is to find out about him. Even stuff that we thought that Joe would have been able to completely cover up, but clearly Joe is not as good as being able to cover his tracks like somebody like a Dexter or a Hannibal Lecter. So yeah, so that's how this episode ends. Like I said, my theory is just basically I think Reese, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I literally never seen his name before in my life. But I think Reese is the killer. I think that he has a lot in common with Joe. I'm really hoping they don't. Anybody ever see the TV show Dexter? I'm going to keep bringing it up, but we know how season one went. We find out who the real killer was, and and all this other stuff that went on in season one. I hope they don't pull that with this whole relationship between Joe and Reese. I hope that this guy isn't have more any type of dark past with Joe. I think that'd be a little too cliche to be honest with you, but I'm curious. I know the writing on the show is pretty good, so I'm curious to see how they're gonna do things. Like I said, I love that this season is not doing a whole stalker lover thing. Joe is not trying to fall in love with nobody. He's just trying to get away from whoever this killer is. I like that whole thing they got going on. It kind of reminds me, like I said, of a who done it type of thing going on, and like the board game Clue. Trying to figure out who the killer is, and I'm interested to see how this is gonna go. Usually, most storylines like this are a little, corny, but I'm curious to see how it goes, and I hope that the killer is not who I think it is, but we're gonna see. I don't have much else to say about this episode. I guess I thought it was pretty good, and I cannot wait to see what they have planned for episode 3. So, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe for all things Netflix's You, and thank you for watching my video.